So I want to say thank you to hashtag Team Live, hashtag Team Replay. However you're watching this on YouTube, LinkedIn, let us know where you are, how you're watching. We have some people checking in already. But this is something that was birthed out of an idea, talking with people offline and kind of seeing that we don't have a safe place to speak all the time as Black professionals. So this is a chance for us to just kind of talk openly. So if you're in the comments, let us know what you're thinking, how you're feeling. And I'm going to go around the panel real quick and introduce everybody here. We'll have folks jumping in and out as the show goes on. But I'll start with Pierre. He was first one here, and he's to my right, probably on the internet. So Pierre, let us know who you are and your gift for the world.
My gift for the world is I help people to articulate their value. I feel the pain of leaders. Every time I feel like a leader is not being developed, it's like, oh, I feel it. So that's what I'm here to do. I help leaders, managers, executives, and also students understand how to articulate their value so that they can have higher earning potential. That's me. That's what I do. I also say, let's go all the time.
Mr. Let's Go, as they call him. All right, we got Brian Jennings from the other side. Brian, let us know what's going on. Uh-oh, you're on mute still.
Oh, I was on mute. Okay, good, good. All right. So I own the largest Black-owned payroll company in the United States. We actually have a software better than our competitors. You know, our top 10 competitors' software is just much more dynamic. But what we do is make sure that businesses are thriving, right? So you have a strong foundation, you have a strong operations, but then you're also able to market and grow your business. So we're able to help business compete with Fortune 500 companies, in addition to providing payroll services.
Don't be modest. This is the only Black-owned payroll company in the U.S. Also, the only Black-owned payroll company. So don't be modest about that, Brian. I know you're a humble guy. All right, we got Marlon up next. Marlon over there with the suit blazer looking fresh.
I do what I can, bow tie man.
Go ahead, Marlon.
Do what I can. Marlon Scott calling in from Houston. It's a beautiful day out today. I am a financial advisor, wealth manager. I help people who think they know what's going on with their finances. I make sure they truly know. And a lot of that is through tax-free retirement processes. So that's me.
Boom, he speaks my language. I love it. Love when kings can collaborate and speak the same language. I'm going to help Ronell because Ronell's giving us an exclusive on Professionally Black with the Diddy, as we call it right now. Let me see if I can unmute him real quick. Hold on. When I can mute you, but I can't.
I'll roll with that
right now. Hold on.
I'm here. I'm live and direct.
There we
Can
go.
you hear me now? So yeah, I'll take the Diddy. I'll roll with that. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Ronell Richards. I'm on a mission to change the way that we do business. I want entrepreneurs to be successful. I want them to be better sellers. I want them to sell their products. I want y'all to win. So that's really what I'm about as a coaching consultant for entrepreneurs and sales leaders, the host of Business and Bourbon and the Business and Bourbon platform. At my core, I'm just a businessman. Y'all know me. Y'all know what I do. And I get my hair cut in the middle of the day because this is what we got to do. Y'all know it's all real talk with me. I have events. I have things going on. I need a haircut. It gets done.
Hey,
hi, Forrest.
It is what it is. We can respect it. Shout out to the Barber Suit for keeping us looking fresh in the middle of a pandemic. Appreciate you, King.
No doubt.
All right, Kelly Blackman. Kelly, let us know what's going on, what you do for the world. Oh, you're still on mute. And hold on,
there we go.
There you go.
Hey, I'm Kelly Blackman. I'm a success coach. I would say probably self-mastery coach is the best because I'm trying to help everybody get beyond their limiting beliefs, get beyond the stuff that's stopping them from being successful. I was a business coach, entrepreneurial coach, career coach. So I got a lot of experience watching people not make it. So my mission is to help people find their why and to really connect them with it, help them plan out how to get to that next step. Oh, let me also just say I'm in Chicago and I feel so bad about y'all. Y'all in Houston is nice. It's 37 degrees here, y'all. It's cold. It's cold.
37, man.
Yeah.
Thoughts and
I
prayers,
don't-
brother.
Yeah.
Thoughts and prayers. All right, Mr. Nick Nelson.
Good afternoon. My name is Nick F. Nelson, brandpreneur. You can call me brandpreneur. I own a company by the name of Brandpreneur. I help remarkable people, products, and organizations to enhance their professional reputation online and brand their brilliance. I also do videography, photography. I take your raggedy images and I make you look new again and transform everything about your online presence so that you do two things: get noticed.
I like that he said our raggedy images. Nick always bodies these. Whenever he does these, he bodies them every time. I think he just comes on just for the first 10 seconds to body and like, I'm out.
Man, you got to know how to if you don't know how to introduce yourself, man, oh my God, you need to figure it out. Let me tell you something. When you say your name and when you say what you do, you better say it so it's memorable, right?
You better say it.
You better say it.
Now this is perfect to have Michelle follow you then, because Michelle
my
will
God,
body
I'm
it,
so
I think,
excited.
as well.
Go ahead, Michelle. Do what you do.
My name is Michelle Taylor Willis. I don't own
Yes, it is.
Brandpreneur, but I could own Brandpreneur if I wanted to, because I can do all things and all things matter. And I'll still do three things: get you noticed, but not today.
I love it.
Nick. I had to do it. Okay, seriously. I choked myself up on that one. My name is Michelle Taylor Willis. I empower people to empower people, and I do that in a couple ways. I own a media company where we specialize in TV, print, radio, and billboard mediums, and we specialize in making sure small businesses can get their messages out. I also own a small entrepreneurial coaching and speaking firm, another way just to empower people, right? So I stand in front of people talking to them and empowering them, whether you're an entrepreneur, you want to get better in sales, you need visioning, parenting, whatever. You know, if it falls in my bucket, I absolutely can talk to it. And then every now and then I will do some one-on-one coaching with entrepreneurs at any stage of the game. If they're just trying to get started, if they build a company and they're trying to scale, if they're in the middle, all of that I can do. And that's me. I'm also the host of the According to Michelle radio show. So there's that.
Boom.
There is that.
Appreciate you, Queen. Now we got Queen Winter Wheeler. We'll keep the Queen trend going. Winter, let us know what you do and your gift for the world.
Hi, I am in Atlanta, Georgia. I am a mediator and arbitrator. And so what that means is I help feuding parties resolve their legal problems, whether that's before a lawsuit's been filed, during the process of the litigation, and sometimes even afterward. I have an uncanny knack to get to the heart of the matter and figure out what people really want, because often what people say they want is not what they really want. And I'm good at dragging that out of people in the nicest way possible.
In the nicest way possible. It sounds like a mama right there.
Well, I also have 4 children, so yes.
Oh, that is a mama right there.
Who broke that vase? I know one of y'all did it. Well, appreciate you, Queen.
Thank you for having me.
Let's go down to the islands. We got Judy McCutcheon. Judy, let us know who you are. No problem. Uh-oh, we got frozen for a second. Judy, let us know who you are and your gift for the world. There you go.
Hi, everyone. My name is Judy McCutcheon, and I am calling in from the beautiful island of Pure Grenada in the Caribbean. And I'll tell you, organizational redesign, HR, and women are my jams, right? I help organizations rearrange themselves, reorganize themselves for efficiency. I help with the HR processes to make them really people focused. And women I work with women to help them own their badass so that they can create the personal and financial freedom that they desire. And that's me. Those are my jams.
I was waiting for the badass to come out. Look, now
it came out.
Before we want to get some. You told me before we're gonna get some island flair. And Pierre is Jamaican, so he starts speaking patois right after the accent, and he's gonna just start going crazy.
No. We usually
ahead,
when you say you're from the Caribbean, everybody think Jamaica. No, there are several islands.
You and Pierre will give us our island flair. So, Mr. Martin Pratt, let us know who you are and your gift for the world. Uh-oh, we can't hear you. That platinum mic.
I need that mic in my life. You hear me?
Yeah, I got jokes. I like it.
Boy, that's that Diddy mic right there. You know, that's that.
Make you want to drop an album.
Well, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do in media, right? As Nick, I don't have Nick's verbal skills, so I gotta have something else. But yeah, I'm a strategist here in Philadelphia, helping media companies, tech companies, and also politicians get the word out.
Boom. See, when you have a gold mic, you can just say like 12 words and you're done. That's it. Don't drop that mic, though. It's gold. You can't drop that one. All right, Liz. Liz has she got featured. This is the queen of features right here. I'm going to call Liz Drake or something because she's the queen of features right now. She gets featured on everything. So Liz, let us know who you are and your gift for the world.
My name is Liz Elizabeth Leiba. I am a college professor. I've been working in higher education for the past 20 years. I started as an admissions counselor, and then after working in admissions for several years, took a break and worked as the editor of the newspapers for the Seminole tribe here on the reservation in South Florida. And after doing that for a few years, went back into the classroom and became a faculty member and have taught English for about a decade. I've spent teaching at a variety of different community colleges and local small private schools in South Florida, as well as online. For the past few years, I've also worked as an instructional designer, which means that I design and collaborate with instructors to develop their online classes. And that's been especially useful in the past few months, but as we pivoted to online so that we can help our instructors be more effective in delivering their classes and keep the students safe. And over the past few months, I started working as a co-host. I was asked to join a podcast, a higher education podcast, where we interview ed tech, college presidents, anyone that's moving and shaking in higher education. We've interviewed them to find out about the pivot to online, about diversity, about what we need to do to address some of the issues as far as inequity and some of the hiring practices, some of the marginalization of our students, anything that's basically a topic that's on the minds of the students, the professors, the administration. We try to address those topics. We've also had other leaders. We recently had Bracken Darrell, who's the CEO of Logitech, who came on and talked about tech education and education as a field and higher education as far as what things that we need to do and how we can be more effective. So we're trying to not only talk to those that are in higher education, but also collaborate with those outside of higher education to get some ideas about how higher education can be more effective and meaningful for our students, lower debt, better ROI. And today I was featured in LinkedIn's Top Voices as one of the top voices in higher education based on their editors and looking at I guess just what I put out there as far as articles, as far as my posting, as far as the podcast, and just lending my voice to raising these concerns in higher education.
Well, we appreciate you, Queen. You even got Professionally Black low-key slipped in there, featured a little bit, so appreciate that. And I'm going to say I'm thankful for Melanin, because when Liz said she started teaching 20 years ago, I thought she must have started teaching when she was 5 or something. So I am thankful for Melanin.
Oh, you sound like, where's my friend Martin? He talking about he didn't think I knew who Vesta was. And I'm like, hello, I told you your platform, Black Planet, that I fell in love on Black Planet at least 10 times. So clearly I'm old if I have fell in love on Black Planet. Most people don't even know what Black Planet is.
You could have been 14 or 13 on Black Planet.
On their phone, we were having to log on and try to fall in love the old-fashioned way using dial-up.
Yeah, if you don't know what that sound is, boy, you can tell your age if you know what that is, right?
That's what I'm trying to tell you, but they say black don't crack, so I just gotta thank my mom and thank Melanin, just like Daryl say. So there's that. Thanksgiving.
Appreciate you, Queen. All right, well, we'll continue the education tip. We got Tamonte here. Let us know your gift, King.
I mean, I'm a jack of all trades, master of many. I'm a proud noob, brother.
Yo.
No, I'm a lawyer.
I see Nick coming up. Wait. Go back. I see Nick coming off mute when you did that.
My name is Dr. Tamonte Leary. I'm a lawyer. I'm a professor. I'm an entrepreneur. I am a founder, and also I work at Microsoft, representing Blacks at Microsoft. Very glad to be here, a part of this discussion. I do a lot in my respective work, just kind of depending on what we're talking about. I guess I'll highlight right now my app, Class Updates, is an app that keeps teachers and students connected in the higher education space. I'm also a professor like Professor Liba. I've been teaching in higher education for 10 years, believe it or not. I know I probably don't look like it, but yeah, I've got 10 years in. And what Class Updates, we have every college, university, and high school in the country. Okay, you heard my son. You got a lunch break.
It's all good.
Class Updates has every high school, college, and university in the country in our database. Essentially, we keep teachers and students connected in real time with push notification technology. Looks like it froze up a little bit. I'm not sure what happened, but maybe if I stop my video and start it. And we have seen.
Good now. That was me.
That was you? Okay. We've seen a lot of increased traction recently with the shift to higher education being with the shift of higher education being online and teachers and students needing to be connected. So we are seeking investment funding right now. We are trying to fundraise and grow and scale Class Updates, take it to the next level. We're a minority founded tech startup. And yeah, happy to be here.
You're doing good with the kids in the background. I appreciate you, King. I know it's hard. All right, let's get to round us out. We got Rebecca Ratliff. Hey, Rebecca, let us know your gift for the world.
My gift. Okay, so I'll unmute myself. I'm unmuting myself. Okay, everybody can hear me now?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, hey everybody. My gift to the world is authenticity. I am authentically me. Anybody that knows me knows that I just I figure, and I wish I could take credit for this quote, but I can't. I am myself because everybody else is already taken. So happy to be myself, happy to be a descendant of survivors of the Middle Passage, and just proud of what we as Black people bring to every conversation that we participate in, and happy when we know that we're better together, because then the conversations are so much richer. And so I see some collaborators on this, some of my partners on this call, and people that I'm very proud of. But am I supposed to give more of an introduction, Daryl, or is that good? Am I supposed to say who I am?
You were good, Queen. You said who you are. You were good.
Awesome.
That's all good. And I want to bring the audience into this because I got some comments coming in. We have Tiffany Castanago. She's Team Live representing. We have Lakeisha Young. She's saying LinkedIn Team Live. We have Deb Helfrich. She's Team Live in Seattle. Thank you, Seattle, for jumping in here. Sims Tillerson, Team Live in South Carolina. he said jealous of Ronell getting taped up right now. So he's trying to get a fresh cut too. Veronica out there in the UK, she's with us in spirit. She said mummy duties were on demand for me, so the mummy had to be working right now. And then Lakeisha, she said Team Winter. So we got a hashtag Team Winter right now. So the purpose of today's conversation, very kind of broad swatch, but why you're thankful for being Black. With everything that's been going on, especially the last 4 years, there's been a lot of reasons to not be. It's quite easy to fall into that trap. And I feel like we as Black people often are punished for being proud of our culture in social settings where it's kind of like frowned upon, like you're being too Black, where other cultures do it all the time. So this is a chance just for us to talk about why you're proud to be Black in this month of Thanksgiving and why you're thankful. I want to start out with Nick. I know Nick has a good background. His parents helped him a lot with learning about that. So Nick, for you as a young man that's been kind of going through Gen X and everything, why are you thankful for being Black at this day and age?
I'm thankful for being Black because I'm thankful for the community that comes with being Black. You can't, as a part of being Black, the initial community that you have is community of family, and ain't nothing like a Black family. You have the crazy aunts and uncles and aunties and cousins. You have the ones that are, know how to throw a Bible scripture at everything, right? You have the chefs, you have the, everything. It comes with everything. But that's your beginning community. So I'm thankful for having that. But the biggest thing that I'm thankful for in terms of being Black is the struggle that comes with being Black, because the struggle personally has made me greater. Having people who don't look like me expect for me not to be able to be on par with them, and learning and working in the background and pushing myself so I can have not just one seat at the table, but several seats until I made my own seat. And I'm also thankful for just the relationships and the secret words that we have as a Black race. We can say certain things that other people would be none the wiser in terms of, we know how to make up a word, right? And have it really mean something to us, right? And it's code, it's nothing but code. But I am thankful for that code because it allows us to be able to communicate with one another. You can walk down the street, man, and give a nod. And if the brother doesn't give a nod back, ain't a brother. But at least I gave you a code. I tried, right? I tried you. And so that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for the community. I'm thankful for the struggle that comes with being Black and how it's made me better. And I'm thankful for just the secret language of being Black that allows us to be able to communicate while the rest of the world is none the wiser.
Yeah, I think you said that one. It makes you think about Tamonte shared a link with us for that Dr. Dre did a piece for
Beats.
Black culture versus the Black person. And it got heated reviews. Some people liked it, some people hated it. I thought it was perfect because it kind of showed the fact. Wait, Martin, jumping, what's up?
Yeah, you're kind of going in and out. So maybe you would turn your video off because we're kind of here.
My kid's watching videos on school right now.
Okay.
But that piece Dr. Dre did about Black culture, like you love my culture, but you don't love me, is spot on, because when you watch popular media, we've influenced so much.
Yeah.
Commercials, movies, vernacular, the way people talk. There's so many things we influence. So I think that's great that you said that. And then Tamonte, since you shared that, you obviously found it and kind of shared it with me. What is your response to that when people kind of like, you're thankful for your culture, but they're not thankful for you as a person?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, we sell out seats, we everybody comes to watch us play. Everybody comes to watch us perform. And, a lot of times we excel and end up being, the best on the field, but then after that, what happens when the entertainment value is gone or is lost, right? Do you love our culture, or do you love me as a Black man or as a person? Was kind of the call of that article. And it's one thing to to kind of to watch us perform or entertain, put on a show, what have you, but that's kind of a very shallow embrace, if you will, of our culture. What is it beyond that? I'm proud to be Black, just because Nick touched on a lot of it, but just so many unique experiences, from the barbershop talks to the HBCUs, to the historically Black fraternities, to the the lingo, right? The different, the trends that we set, right? We're trendsetters. The know do something, and then the world starts to follow. For so many reasons, I'm proud to be Black. Also, I happen to love this beautiful brown skin that I have as well. So,
that melanin, man, there's nothing like it. It helps keep you young. Everybody on here probably looks 20 years younger than they actually are. So you got to thank melanin for that. But
yeah.
Ronell, I want to bring you in real quick. I know, Ronell, you have a very strong Black roots in your family, and your parents helped teach you a lot as a young man. So for you, considering everything politically that's going on and socially, why are you thankful for being Black right now?
Why am I thankful? That is just a big, beefy, just massive question. My perspective is probably different than several, just based upon my upbringing, which, for those of you that don't know, I'm originally from Ohio. OH. Nick, where you at? Ohioans, where you at? There we go, baby. All right. And, as a kid, my parents picked up for a better life and moved us to Utah. And so growing up in an environment where we are the minority of minorities, I believe at the time, 1% of the population, gives me a unique perspective on the power and impact of our community. And in that environment, my parents opened up a beauty supply and barber and salon, right? And to cater to our community. So community has always been of just utmost importance to me. That has been ingrained in me in the respect for our culture, the respect for the sacrifice. To Nick's earlier point, that has been a constant motivator in my life, in my business, is the respect for our ancestors, respect for those that came before us, and the opportunity that they've created for us through their sacrifice. So, growing up in an environment where we were, again, 1%, like, it meant a lot. The community meant a lot. We supported each other. We always acknowledged each other. Nick mentioned the nod. Yeah, listen, y'all have no idea how important the nod was. It didn't matter. Like, I'd never see you in my life. You could be from wherever. You see a brother, you see a sister, and there's that nod. And for me, that was a coming of age when I got to be old enough to wear the nod, because I used to watch my father do the nod, and it was just so impactful. It was like, yeah, I can't wait till I'm old enough to do the nod. Then I was old enough to do the nod. It's that secret language, that code that Nick had mentioned. But beyond that, I think it just comes back to this shared experience in this country. And someone had mentioned about our impact. And listen, we have just a tremendous Black culture in the United States, but I want to draw attention to African Americans in particular, and our impact on this world. It's massive, and that excites me, just to think that this small group. You think about our numbers across the whole world. We're like this, but our impact is massive, and that brings me tremendous pride. And certainly grateful for the impact that we've been able to make, and certainly really grateful and inspired by those that are making impact, whether it be in sports, entertainment, whatever, but transitioning that to business and transitioning that to change that matters long term. Right now, we're seeing a lot now in amongst some of the leaders in the community, not being afraid to step up and be more than a basketball player, be more than an artist, and take on that mantle that was left beyond by so many great civil rights leaders and folks before them is just really something that makes me tremendously proud to your point of to be Black, tremendously proud to be Black right now, and extremely proud to help lead in that. Y'all know, anyone that knows me and has been paying attention to what I do, I'm one of these guys. I do business with everyone. Y'all know that. Nick and I joke about this all the time, but I am not afraid to lead. I'm not afraid to take up this mantle and help move our agenda forward. So I'm not forgetting. Y'all not forgetting. So while we can be proud, we're sitting right now, and we're happy about the things that we've accomplished as a people. Oh, we are by no means done.
Definitely not.
Y'all be ready. It's still coming. It's still coming.
And I want to bring Winter into this because Winter you're in the legal side, so obviously you see both sides of a story all the time. Sometimes it's a good side, sometimes it's a bad side. But as a mother and everything, why are you thankful for being Black in this day and age right now?
Oh man. Well, let me start by saying I just love the way we look. I know we mentioned that a little bit before, but I love it. This skin color is just amazing. And then, no other race is as varied as we are. Like, we come in so many shades, with this one, my personal one being my favorite, but whatever. And a lot of people have touched on, our language. African American vernacular English is a thing of beauty. It makes me so happy to be in a space where I can speak AAVE. I just love it. I love that I can code switch. It is truly like another language. And it is the funniest thing in the entire world to me when you'll have like a group full of Black folks, like speaking AAVE, and then somebody else will walk in and we just instantly switch. It's like, well, hello, how are you? We just do it so seamlessly. And it's like, do they know that we do that? I have no idea. Well, maybe if they're watching, they know that we do that now. And then of course, Black women, the sisterhood is just, it's like nothing I've ever seen another group of people have. Black women always come through at the end of the day. Like, I don't have to know you, but if you're Black and you need something from me, raise your hand and I got you. And I think we see that, we saw that obviously with this election, and how Black women showed up and showed out. And my pearls today are a nod to Kamala Harris and to all of the women who got up and stood in all those long, terrible lines, Rebecca Ratliff being one of them, to make sure that our voices were heard. But really, like, what really does it for me, and I did not appreciate this until, I don't know, last week. I've had to think outside the box. I've had to create my own space. For a very long time, working in law firms, which is, the most traditional of traditional places you can be, they try to put you in this box. And typically that box is an older white man. Well, clearly I'm not an older white man. Never will be, never would want to be. And I mean, I couldn't fake what they wanted me to fake. And so when I got fed up with that, and I just decided I was going to be authentically myself, it gave me the strength and the courage to go out and try something new. And I had the support of a lot of Black women pushing me forward, and I have never been happier in my life. So there is so much to be thankful for when it comes to being Black. And I feel like I've been talking for a long time, but
no, you're good.
I think that another thing black women, black people do when they see us, when others see us come together, it's just a beautiful thing. And I think it propels other people forward too. You know, it helps boost other minorities and give them some insight and some courage. You know, I feel like we are constantly leading the way for everyone, really. So I mean,
yeah, I hope it continues that way too, because I feel like after MLK and the civil rights movement, basically, we lost that unity as a people. We kind of were less connected after that point. We usually marched to the same drum and kind of had the same agenda back then and kind of lost that. So I'm thankful that it's unfortunate that we had to go through a Trump presidency, but that kind of forced us to, hey, we got to look out for each other, y'all. This is not working out in our favor the other way. So
right. You know, that
when I heard the pearls being mentioned, I want to make sure Michelle gets to weigh in on this with the pearls.
Yes. I'm sorry. Did somebody say AKA? I'm confused. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure I heard you correctly.
You heard him correctly.
Act the fool.
So this is actually, I'm so glad you mentioned this. This is one of the things I love about being Black. That I could talk about the Divine Nine and the community that it brings. I mean, who else gets to do that, right? And of course, since the AKAs from the female perspective started it all, I got to give a shout out to all the pink and greenies that are actually on the panel or who are watching. So, all right. So here's a couple of things I like about being Black. The first thing is the fact that we had to create a culture for ourselves where one did not exist. And where some people have perceived that we have these inherent weaknesses, we've been able to transition and literally have our own paradigm shift, but create that same paradigm shift for others. I love that. And then I love the fact that we have privilege. You know, when we use the term right now, privilege, we're referring usually to other races, but we have privilege. What about Black privilege? Right? And to what everybody else said, the community. But the biggest thing here is turning what is perceived weakness into strength. And we have done that better than anybody. One, out of necessity, really, out of necessity. Really, that's the only reason. Out of necessity, we've been able to do this. And who else can really claim that? So that's what I got on that, Daryl.
That's perfect. And when you think about that, I mean, language was one of the biggest things with that. We had to make our own language because we weren't able to read and allowed to read. So we kind of made our own words up and kind of changed it for ourselves. So Judy, from the island perspective, because obviously you're not island, so the Black experience is a little bit different there. But for you, from a very diverse area and definitely more melanated than most of our areas, why are you thankful for being Black?
Well, I'm listening to everybody and I'm thinking, wow, I have so much to be thankful for. In the Caribbean, I grew up seeing our prime ministers, our presidents, everybody being Black. But it wasn't always that way, because in 1970, we had probably the equivalent of what you would have had as your civil rights movement. We had a Black Power movement in the Caribbean, because in those days, you wouldn't see Black people working in banks, in government offices, anywhere like that. So we had a serious uprising throughout the Caribbean, and that has really changed things a lot. So by the time I came along, I really had it a lot easier. I mean, I could work anywhere I want once I have the qualifications and stuff like that. However, but we still do have, even though we are predominantly Black in the Caribbean, we still have a lot of isms. So I'm listening to you all and I'm thinking that code and where you can talk in your own way and nobody recognizes it, we do have that in common because we do it a lot. We do it a lot here. So we're in a group, even though there are other people in the group, and we don't want them to understand what we're saying. We just kind of talk to each other. I am thankful for the community that we have, for the culture that we have. And one thing about the Caribbean, even though we have several islands, when one island is winning, everybody is behind that island. So there's a Usain Bolt. Yep. There's a Ronnie James here. There's a Atto Bolan in Trinidad. There's wherever they are, you will see us coming together. We will be wearing the colors of that Caribbean island and we will be jamming with them. So I'm really thankful for our togetherness and for our culture. You know, I don't, like right now, this particular time, there was a time, so I need to admit this, right? I need to admit this publicly. There was a time when I really couldn't identify with Black Americans because I always thought, man, these people just have a chip on their shoulders about everything. And it's what we thought, because we haven't been through what you have been through. So I'm really thankful. I'm so thankful that for open minds and knowledge that, you know, I could really have looked at it from a different perspective to really understand the struggles of the Black American so that I can stand in solidarity and support with you. So yes, in the Caribbean, some of us really had that thing, but I think now with the internet and more knowledge and everything like that, those perspectives is definitely changing things up. Yeah.
I want to throw a curveball then into this. Speaking of this chip on the shoulder thing, I want to have Liz and Martin kind of talk about this a little bit. When we think about recently, we obviously had a political election that just happened, and we had this whole Ice Cube being canceled thing. Everybody wants to cancel Ice Cube because he met with Trump and everything like that. So Liz and Martin are part of, we'll say, the woke area. So when you think about this chip on our shoulder and we're kind of like being a monolith with things, what are your thoughts about us trying to advance the culture in that way that he did? What do you think about that?
When I saw that, I was thinking like, what? And then I thought, well, okay, we could look at this. We could kind of look at this in two ways.
Oh, Judy, wait, hold on. I want Liz to weigh in. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Liz.
I was waiting for Judy because I was going to cheat off of her answer and just say I agree. You know, I'm not like a huge fan of cancel culture, only because I feel as though sometimes there is an expectation of the Black community, like we're a monolith and we always have to think the same way. I think sometimes you have to be a little bit, though, careful when you're a celebrity or you're someone that's in a position where you kind of coming in can just cause a whole bunch of confusion. Sometimes I feel like that's a little bit more detrimental than is necessary. And I feel like sometimes you kind of have to be mindful that you may be kind of being played. For me, I relate to a lot of what Judy is saying, because I'm also, a lot of people don't know this, but I'm from the UK. And I present as African-American. So a lot of people think that I am, because I was raised here. My parents are Jamaican. So I have Jamaican parents. I was raised a lot like how Judy say, oh, they got a chip on their shoulder, this, that, and the third, you know, come over here. It was very much of the Caribbean mindset is come over here, work hard, put your nose down, put yourself down to the grindstone, get school, get a business, do whatever you need to do, and everything's going to be peaches and cream. Clearly, after being an immigrant, because I was born in London, like Veronica, and lived here since I was young, and that wasn't exactly what was happening. I grew up in a predominantly Black neighborhood, and I went to a school, it was very woke, like 90% Black. We had on our Black medallion, we had on our kente cloths, we was reading Malcolm X. The teachers was like, you know, just drilling that in our head. You can be anything that you want to be. And then I went to a PWI, like where me and Michelle were there at the same time. And it was like, wake up call. They don't care nothing about you here, and they'll fail you just as soon as look at you. So you had to literally come out of that idea that like, hey, this is a community. And it was more of a dog eat dog, like every man for himself. And you had to hustle and work hard. And I think that is where a lot of the time there is a perception or a misconception that we all have to think the same way. We've all been through the same thing. And I think for me, having seen that, you know, the American dream is not necessarily what it's cracked up to be. And it's not, I don't like to be weaponized. So I find for myself, a lot of times people will weaponize me and say, well, you did it. How come you did it? And I'm like, well, first of all, I'm not even from here. So don't try to weaponize me against my African-American brother or sister, because my whole mindset is totally different, because I grew up much like Judy with family, seeing people that were the prime minister's Black, the doctors are Black, the lawyer is Black, the pilot is Black. You go on Air Jamaica, the stewardess is Black. Hi, how you doing? Come on the flight. And the stewardess is Black, the pilot is Black. You land, the flight crew is Black, the janitor is Black, the president is Black. You turn on TV, everything, all the ads are Black. So your whole mindset is a lot different. And that's generational. So I think sometimes people don't understand that generational aspect of it. And then somebody like an Ice Cube or somebody like me or somebody that, you know, they feel like, oh, you're the representative for the race. Then they want to weaponize you and say, well, Ice Cube thinks this. Or so I think you have to be careful. I kind of feel as though everybody can have their own, if you want to go and meet with him or you want to have your own opinion, but be careful and don't allow yourself to be also weaponized or used as a pawn or used in a way that's going to be negative for people that you're trying to help, supposedly trying to help.
Yeah, Martin, I want to get you on that too, because you're in Philly, obviously, that helped decide the election to a degree. What's your feedback on that? Because to me, I feel like he just got used personally. I feel like it was just he got used. But what about you, Martin?
Well, I think that Liz and I didn't get a chance to really dive into why I think we Black, first of all.
Go ahead, do that first.
So I gotta, you know, I'm creative. I love Black women, so I gotta represent why I love being Black. But the one thing that I will say, last 2 weeks, my wife has been watching Enslaved, and I hadn't ever saw that documentary on Amazon. And Sam Jackson did an excellent job of. I couldn't watch Rosewood. I couldn't watch The Roots. When Roots came out in the 70s, I actually attacked my teacher in elementary school. She told me to do something. I said, my name is not Kunta Kinte, and I kicked her in the shin. So I have never been able to watch Amistad. Those movies, people say they were triggers, but for me, those are triggers. But Enslaved is very unique. As a techie and as a geek that loves information, they went around the world and showed how much every country, every continent had slaves, and what was the financial reward, how we fought back with no weapons, with nothing, and how many islands were established by slaves who actually overtook their ships and rowed to the closest land they could and established their own, basic island. And how England actually, when they first started printing cartoons about slavery, that helped humanize us in white English eyes. And they started to realize this is not, something that we should be a part of. But up until that point, we were technology used by every country in the world, like a computer. And in some cases, we were used for 8 to 10 years and then killed. That was our life. That was our lifespan. So to see, and the crazy thing is, like, there was definitely some, I'll say, comrades and allies on that trip. But it was 3 of us, one biracial sister, one brother, and one actually another brother, and Sam Jackson. And they were the leaders of every episode. And as they dove into they basically were discovering the slave ships, the booty that was in the water, and other artifacts. And understanding as a techie that this technology was illegally gotten, traded, and then had no, as Liz brought out, we had nothing, and also Rebecca brought out, we didn't have anything physically, a culture, a language, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But to look at us today and see what we have accomplished, and I think to what Judy was talking about, a lot of us don't realize that in most countries in Africa and most countries in the Caribbean had English people who were from not that country running the entire country up until the 70s, which is what Bob Marley was really, and back then with Rastafarianism, and everything was trying to establish independence. And so while at the same time, the Caribbean people and some Africans may not look at us and say they got it easy, and they may not understand our struggle and our story, we may not understand theirs. So I encourage everybody, I'm actually talking to Amazon to figure out how we can do a global watch party of this movie. I think it's that important for us to understand. And then hopefully white people can stop asking me to go talk to Trump supporters and to forgive Trump supporters and to be open listening to people who don't give a shit about us. I'm sick and tired of that. So, and I had to say
Mic
that.
drop. No, I appreciate that, because it's something people ask all the time for us to do, and this is a perfect way to introduce Deethra into the conversation. You can throw into the fire, Deethra. But on that note, kind of even piggybacking on it, even in spite of all that, everything going on, why are you thankful for being Black with us, Queen?
Oh my gosh, I will, my philosophy about speaking, the 3 B's: be brief, be brilliant, and be quiet. But when I think about it, I think about what everyone has already talked about. I appreciate the conglomerations of everything that we are. For example, you heard Liz speak about being Jamaican. You heard others talk about their different backgrounds. I love that being Black doesn't have to be a thing. Like, my father is Jamaican. My mother was born in Hinesville, Georgia. I was raised in Miami, Florida with a heavy Cuban influence, and I still get to be Black. I get to go over to Nigeria and I'm Black. I get to go to England and I'm Black. I get to go to Australia and I'm Black. I enjoy that I can go anywhere and I'm in uniform. Right? No matter where I go, you see me, and sis is in uniform. I don't care if I have on some Nat Taylor, Black female designer here in Atlanta, or some Prada somewhere else. I am always this. And you don't have to ask a question. You don't have to wonder, are you Irish? Are you this? Are you that? No, sis, no king, no queen. I'm Black. And you don't have to ever wonder. It precedes me. And I love not having to explain that. I love not having to give an apology. I love that when I walk in the room, from across the room, you can see me and you already know what it is. So I just appreciate not having to explain. It's like when an attorney walks in and they don't have to explain to you that they know the law. It's like, no, I have my law degree. No questions asked. I love that when I walk in the room, you don't have to ask. I'm in uniform already.
That made an interesting point, because on the post leading up to this, somebody said kind of like, well, why do you have to say Black and make it like go into the confines of that title? And I responded, well, that's the social structure we have. We are Black. That's what we're called. So I own it as this is my culture. Whether you want to call it purple, pink, brown, whatever, Black is the socially accepted term that we've all been given. Exactly. And like you said, it's known worldwide.
And like I talked about it in my TEDx talk, when I talked about, talking about race, religion, and politics. But here's the thing. People want the color of our skin, but they don't want the color of our experience. And so what you see, when you see me, you get to see that there is a color to my experience. It's not just melanin in my skin that comes out. It also speaks to how I'm treated, how I behave, how I have to navigate these waters of career, of business, of relationship, of economics, of improving my community. So if you're going to get this skin color, which seems to be popular, and these features are are accentuated. You go get your butt shots and your lip injections. But if you want what comes with this skin, you have to also be willing to embrace me and what comes with this experience.
Can I just
I agree 100%. I want to
said for a second. I love that.
Go ahead, Winter.
I love that because I tell people all the time I am Black. I do not like being called a person of color, and I will correct people at every opportunity I have to correct them. And I had someone actually in my inbox this morning laughing. I guess he thought it was hilarious. And he was Black. He thought it was funny that I had corrected two white women on a podcast for calling me a woman of color. And I said, well, I'm not a woman of color. I'm a Black woman. I was the only one there. So I was the Black woman who was there. I am a Black woman. It wasn't like there were many races there and that somehow made sense to call us women of color.
Right.
So at any point, I don't want to be called a woman of color. I'm a Black woman. And I think that that's very important. It's a completely different experience. I love and support women who are of color. You know, I can definitely empathize with a lot of the things that they go through, but I can't really understand what their lives are like. And they certainly don't know what mine is like. And I own my Blackness, and I own it every day, all day. And you know, we're all here talking about how proud we are to be Black. So yeah, let me have that. Let me be a Black woman.
Can I jump in there on that?
Go ahead, Rebecca, because I know it's been an issue for a while to figure that out. Go ahead, Rebecca.
Well, I'm going to come on the heels of my friend Winter. I am by ethnicity Irish. I'm Heinz 57, but I appear Black, Irish, Spanish, Native American. Like there's a bunch of a mix here, but I am a Black woman. And sometimes our allies and counterparts are trying to make us feel better. They think we'll feel better if they loop us with a bigger group like women of color. They don't know really always what to say. And so they do have to, get educated just a little bit about why we are proud to identify as Black. I'm proud that Black people are builders. I'm proud that Black people are survivors. I'm proud of the village. And, and now what we hear is, sometimes our counterparts will say, I hear now being tossed around a lot, it takes a village. And that's all they say, because they don't know the actual African proverb. They don't know it takes a village to raise a child. They just hear, they want to take the excerpt and then they want to apply it in a way that is really, they don't mean any harm, but you're quoting an African proverb and you don't actually understand its origin. So you have reduced it, in my mind, to it takes a village, which is not, and what they're referring to is like women helping each other and all that. That's not what that proverb is about. That's not what it means. That's not what it is.
Darrell, can I jump in, please? Did I freeze?
I know you deal with mindset with people all the time. I know as a Black people, we've kind of been through, Negro, person of color, African American. We went through all these different iterations of it. And I feel like Black has been the socially, one all of us agree upon. But with mindset, you're dealing with mindset with people all the time. So when you deal with this issue of people that don't embrace their Blackness, why do you think they're not thankful to be Black when you come across those kind of people?
To be honest with you, I was just actually talking, I believe, with Winter. I posted on her post just yesterday about this. It seems to be a case where you can't say that you're proud to be Black, or that you enjoy being Black, or that you're happy to be Black, because of all the pain that comes with it, because of all the negative things that have come with it, or there's some sort of feeling or indication somewhere in there that it's the case that if you're saying that you're pro-Black, that you're also anti something else. But it is actually pretty much the opposite. Like I love everyone. And I also love being Black. And I'll come from many of you guys touched on it, but I'll come from a slightly different point of view, just talking about mindset of people. Um, and I wish Nick was still on so I can quote the scripture for him. It's James 1, 2 through 4, and it says that basically when you go through stuff, you build up endurance. And I think that that is very unique among Black people in America, Black people universally, but definitely Black people in America. There's a really unique sort of uh, building structure of us as a people, and you see it in our ability when it comes to entertainment and when it comes to all of these different things. But it's also in everything else you guys mentioned about the language, about being able to stick with these bad systems that are generally against us, and to be able to still rise and to have Black culture be such a huge part of not just American culture, but the universal world culture, where you start seeing Black Lives Matter movements in Germany, and you start seeing it in all through Europe, because that is what our culture affects. And to come from kind of like Martin was saying, to come from a place where you're a commodity, you're a tool, and to be one of the most dominant cultures in the world culturally, it makes me super happy to be Black. But not only that, because of the fact that we've overcome so much, it really makes me feel and believe and understand that I can do anything. And there are a lot of people who don't feel that.
Yeah, when I think about that, it's kind of like the world would be kind of boring without Black people when I think about popular media, because just think about music. Everything you see commercials now, people talk the way we talk in commercials. Like you don't see a lot of commercials trying to imitate talking Irish in a commercial. You hear our vernacular being used in everything. Even movie titles are changing words. I mean, bootylicious is in the dictionary, which is a totally made up word, but since it was so popular musically, it got to the dictionary. And I know the dictionary is a construct of language, but when you think about all those things we've influenced, the world would be pretty boring without the creativity of Black people. And Pierre, I want to bring you on this because there's a lot of leadership. When we mentioned being an athlete, there's drug dealers that have turned their life around and led different things. There's a lot of leadership components in the Black community that are kind of missed because they think, oh, you're just a basketball player. Oh, you're just this. But when you think about now where we are in the last 4 years, everything changing, are you seeing leadership kind of improving in your eyesight in the Black community right now?
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you said that. First, I would love to say that I love being Black because I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice, right? Let's get real. I really didn't have a choice. My mother, my father, boom, hey, Pierre comes to the world, and for a purpose to build leaders. So I believe that we should love being whoever you are. I love being Black because shoot, I got one life, and I say this all the time. We have one life. So as you're watching this, you should love being whoever you are. If you're white, you should love being white. If you're Black, you should love being Black. The challenge that we have is when we don't love ourselves. And that's the biggest challenge, because we look outside and we value so many things outside of ourselves that we don't even realize that just being who you are as a person is good enough, literally good enough. So I'm thankful for just being Black. And yes, Black is a label. And I'm glad you said that, Darryl, and everybody else that said that. It's a label, it's a name. At the end of the day, we're all people. I always say, what's the color of my skin? Think about this, y'all. That is brown. But it's being Black, I'm proud of that because I've accepted that label and I love it. Now, just like Judy and Liz, I'm of Jamaican descent. So people in Jamaica, everybody Black. Or actually, we are one of many people, which means that we have all kinds of races all mixed up and all that kind of stuff in Jamaica. So, at the end of the day, when I look at society and where we are right now, as far as our young people, the key is valuing ourselves, loving ourselves. If we could start to love ourselves even more and love other people for their differences, I always say that all the time. Like, look, everybody's different. Look at the complexions that we see. Every single person here and every single person watching right now is a different complexion. And so to me, if we put this label, Black, or put our people, meaning all people, in perspective, put that stuff in context. I'm not a professor, but Liz, I think I'm doing pretty good right now. put things in context. You know, look, man, none of us had a choice. Listen, you white person, Black person, Asian person, you didn't have a choice. So love yourself. Seriously, you know, love yourself. So that's what I sorry, you cut off.
I agree with that because I agree with that because when people think about like there was musical songs about like what if I was white and you know people changing races and songs and there was no choice.
No, you didn't
just
have a
to do
choice.
what you have to do. So, but Brian, with you, you're in a space where you're the only Black payroll company out there, and you and I have had talks about that, how that's kind of a double-edged sword. So, for you, with you being the only of a certain business, why are you thankful considering you're the only Black payroll company out there? Oh, you're on mute still.
I get hit with a lot of different angles as to why I'm proud to being Black. You know, we're all hustlers, right? You know, you got the, you know, Pierre over there, the Jamaican, and I'm like, hey, I must have some Jamaican blood too, because I'm just, you know, hustling and whatnot. You know, with what we're doing, you know, we just come from this culture of, hey, we're gonna make a way out of no way. You know, that's several generations back. That's still today. We just have that mindset that no matter what we're gonna go through, we're gonna make the best out of it. We're gonna rise to the top. And you know, for me, you know, I've had the corporate background. You know, I grew up in Colorado, so I have this non-accent. I mean, so maybe I don't sound like I'm necessarily Black until you see me, but you know, I worked in the corporate space, and you know, I was told that once I got in the corporate world, you got to work twice as hard, 3 times, 4 times as hard just to get the recognition. And that's not a new concept. I mean, since we were brought here, we always have had to go above and beyond. I mean, hell, we built the country. You know, we fought in wars. We've made inventions. We've done so much to contribute to our society today to make America where it is. And you have to be really proud of that. But at the same time, we're still just fighting. We're still constantly fighting. I'm proud to fight. You know, I'm proud to continue the fight for people that are going to come after me. I'm proud to see somebody Black and say, hey, you know what? Come over here. Let me just help you out. Let me educate you. Let me build you up. Let me lift you up. You know, I've had some people before me, my family, you know, our ancestry, they've been fighting for us for the half opportunity. So I'm just glad to be in the middle to where, you know, someone helped me, but I can also help someone else. So when I work with someone Black, I mean, it's a whole different level of connection. Because I mean, whether you talk about my family or like I said, people from hundreds of years ago, they'll be so proud of, you know, where we've come from and what we're doing. Right. And so in the world of payroll, I worked, I was like the only Black one in the state. Like, you know, I'm looking around and I'm looking for other people at the conference. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm the token guy that got hired from somebody from outside of Texas that hired me. Like I got slipped in like, hey, you know, in the South here, you know, selling payroll and things like that. And on the job, I knew it. You know, I'm the outlier. I'm working twice as hard as you. You know, someone on the job, and they know it. They know I'm the star of the room. You know, you're the bright spot. And you know, when I started on my own,
I think everybody here has been through that experience. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Right.
In insurance, I've been the only Black guy in the room too. Like I go to a conference and I'm like, where? And then there's been times I've won awards and I get on stage and they're like, didn't see someone of color up there. I'm like, why the heck aren't y'all doing this? And it's interesting. Like Winter, you're in the law space. That's also very conservative. You're probably the only one. You mentioned that story earlier. And then Deb Helfrich had a comment. She said nothing about being Black means that white people are inherently excluded, which I think is a good comment to think that us saying we're Black doesn't exclude other people. But I wanted to get Winter real quick because I had her to add something to that about being in a boring space like you are, because money and law are both very boring. Let's be real. So bringing that color to the conversation should be, I think it's a good thing for your career.
Well, yeah, it happens all the time, even as a mediator, even probably more so as a mediator, except we've got Rebecca here. I'm typically the only Black face, and it's even more rare for me to have another Black woman. If there is another Black person, right, it's typically going to be a Black man. So, I mean, it's just I forget exactly. I think it was Pierre who said it. You didn't have a choice. I don't have a choice. So I had to go forward and just be me and do me, because I can't be anybody else. And I know Rebecca always makes she always says the same thing. What is that quote, Rebecca? You can't be anyone else.
Oh, be yourself. Everybody else is already taken.
Exactly. Yep. And so I show up and I am unapologetically Black, but I embrace everybody. So, it's definitely not negative to anyone else. I mean, I wrote this best-selling book here with 19 other women. I'm the only Black author. So it's not like I can't work very well with people of other races and other backgrounds and from all over the country. But at the end of the day, I think it's incumbent upon me as a Black woman to make sure I'm not the only one going forward.
Yeah, that's a good point to bring Monique in here. She jumped in here. I don't know. Are you in the States right now, Monique? I know you get back and forth between here and the islands. Are you back in Georgia?
Yes, I'm here. What?
Okay.
I wish I could be in the islands right now. What? Ship me off right now.
Hey, me too. But I want you to share why you're thankful for being Black, because you're a great communicator and you've also had to work with all different races. And I think everybody watching this, be aware that being proud of being Black, like Deb Telford said, and she's white, red-haired white lady, that doesn't mean anything ill against your race. Just because we're proud of being Black doesn't mean your race is bad. But people take issue with that sometimes. So Monique, why are you happy to be Black and thankful?
Oh, well, first of all, family, I am glad to be here, seeing all your beautiful Black faces on the screen. So yes, I am in communications. I've been in communications all my life, started speaking at the age of 8 in front of people. And I did not like everything about being Black when I was younger. I was suspect to internalized oppression. It's very common in the islands. You'll see people want to bleach their skin. In Africa, bleaching their skin. I bleached my skin. And for a long time, I never wanted to wear that label. In fact, I just felt like it was a label that, no, that's not what I'm leading with. And I lead with being human, and then every other thing, race, gender, a religion, those are the extras, right? But as I'm identified now in society as Black, we have white. Black race, white race, that I don't know if there's any others. So when we say all other races, we're just talking about Black and white. That's all we're talking about. But I love being Black. I love being who I am, my beautiful chocolate skin, just because that is who I am. I'm thankful because the position that I have in society as a Black woman is definitely not one that many would feel like, oh, we have the advantage or we have the upper hand. But what it does, it allows you to have more insight into how to navigate different relationships. Mm-hmm. And it gives you an awareness of how to embrace other people. This is what, from my own perspective, this is what I love. I love being Black because, listen, all our dance moves, hello, the rhythm, hey, what? I mean, like, we're talking about art, we're talking about culture, we're talking about rhythm. The only thing that we're challenged with often as a race is that mindset piece that we have to justify. Okay, because we proud, we not trying to make you feel uncomfortable. If you feel uncomfortable, so what? I don't need to.
Yeah, that's another person.
That. I don't need to preface
that's true.
that.
That's true. I was that guy for a long time. I didn't want to do that because I felt like it made people uncomfortable being the only Black person in the room often. I was like, if I'm too black, they're going to be uncomfortable. But I came to a point like, well, that's their problem. That's not mine. That's if you have an issue, that's with you.
Yes, there's a difference between, I feel there's a difference between showing up as who you are confidently and then trying to play small. Because I've done that before. So trying to play small in those different environments is one thing because you're shrinking. And then there's another aspect of simply knowing how to communicate. So playing small, playing dumb, and all this other stuff is one thing, but simply having the communications tools, the awareness to have better relationships, understanding what that person on the other side needs from you in order to move the needle or make progress on the goal, that's communication. Yes, it is influenced by race because we have perceptions of people based on race. We have those perceptions, but then there's also the core aspect of communication skills that I feel sometimes we overshadow the fact that you got to have some good communication skills no matter what. We overshadow that. But I absolutely love everything about being Black. I love my hair, as you can tell. I love my skin. I love the rhythm, all of that stuff. And I'm so hopeful. I'm so hopeful for our community, especially on the heels of 2020 and all the things and challenges that we've gone through and continue to go through. I'm so hopeful as a people. I see Black people's confidence, just being restored, new perspectives, new insights, the whole aspect of working together. Look at this. We wouldn't even be here, Daryl, if you and Pierre didn't have a conversation, first of all, and if you didn't take action to bring and facilitate this for us. And now we get to just magnify what we're sharing and serve the community. So look at that. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you for noticing that. Yeah, and then real quick, Brian, I want you to say what you're going to say. I just want to catch up with Deb Helfer. She had a good comment. She said, the world would be so boring. In fact, the world would be likely to end without Black lives, as the 45th administration receipts show. A good comment there. So she's a ally and advocate, but go ahead, Brian.
Right. To jump back in and answer your question about being Black, we have this unique, dichotomy going where, we're getting it from all ends, right? I mean, we're getting it from people who are white. We're getting it from people who are Black. I mean, and it's good and bad in both. Right after George Floyd, died, I'll mention this, is that I've had some white, like, Fortune 500 companies reach out to me and say, hey, we want to work with you. You're a Black-owned business. We want to support Black-owned business. And it's like, okay, talk to the CEO. I talk to the CFO, and it's a whole different story. So it's like, dang, like we got people that want to support us and love us on that end. And then to internally within our own culture, I'll have people call me, and it's amazing because the growth that I got this year, just from the unity that we have, that growing unity that we have, I mean, it's just exponential. I mean, it's fantastic. And some people, like I've said before, they're like, hey, so this is Black-owned payroll company? It's Black-owned? I'm like, you're Black? And I'm like, yep, I'm Black. Let's go. Let's get this paperwork going, baby. And it's just it's an easy win, like deal, But then some things that infuriate me is that some people call and they say, hey, you Black-owned, this Black-owned, I want to support a Black-owned company. I'm like, all right, let's get the paperwork. I'm gonna send it over to you. All right, cool, we got you covered. Our software is top of the line. We got you, let's go. And then they say, well, can you match the price of, Joe Blow company or, my top competitors? I'm like, hold up, man, what are we doing? I thought you wanted to support Black. So that really gets under my skin in a way, because this is what you just said, like, and they say, nah, man, I'm gonna save $20, $30 or $40. And I'm like, and is that all that really matters to you? The dollars. So then I do, one thing I also like about being Black is I do pull out that, that draw for Uno card and change the color. Ow, just laying on the table. It's like, hey, wait a minute. Like,
the Uno card.
What's more important? Save a little money for yourself, or is it you want to do the collective thing and really support us? Because this doesn't just go to our pockets, but we're giving in a way, like the money we donate, it goes economically to the advancement of people who are disenfranchised. So again, we're trying to make a better America at the same time. But, you know, again, I have to remind people at the same time, it's like, well, no, you just said you want to support Black. So, I mean, you know, where are we going? Where are we going with that? So,
yeah, and Kelly,
you know,
Kelly, I want to bring
it's
you
a
in on that.
constant struggle.
That's no, yeah, I understand. I want to bring Kelly on that too, because that's something that is an issue a lot of times, that other cultures do that very well. Like the Asian culture, they keep that money in there forever. You will be hard pressed to get $1 at the Asian community, and that's not a bad thing, but that's what they do so well. So Kelly, go ahead and weigh in.
Thanks so much, man. I want to kind of jump back a little bit to what Monique was saying, because I think that really is the place where all of this kind of drills down to. It's about mindset, and it's really honestly about self-awareness. It's about emotional intelligence. It's about us knowing us. I've had some of these podcasts and some of these interviews where people will be like, um, where people will be hard pressed to say some Black owned businesses are horrible. Some of them are. Some of them are just like, let me grab this money out the hood, and I don't want to service you guys. I want to give you guys anything that's worthwhile, and I'm going to charge double the prices because you'll come to me because I'm Black owned. And it's us as Black people understanding. It's kind of like I think Brian was mentioning, we're getting it from all sides, and we're getting good and bad from all sides. But it becomes about us being aware of us as individuals and as a race and as a culture. That it's the case where uh, the same kind of money isn't funneled to the hood, and we don't keep our money in the hood. We're if I'm a part of one of those Facebook groups, Black Wall Street, because the idea is, how many times can you circulate this money? And on the flip side of that is, you got to have something that's worth circulating, right? You got to have something that's worth buying, worth purchasing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it really comes down to, you can make that commitment, but as a race, as a culture, as a people, how many of us are making that commitment? So I really do believe, man, that it's about mindset, and that's an individual level. Like, I can't control, I love all you guys, but I don't know how you do business, and I can't control how you do business. So if
Mm-hmm.
we meet up like this and we have a collective of people who say, hey, it's going to be my man Brian said, you're getting top tier service, you're getting top tier stuff, that's why I'm allowed to charge this, and I'm willing to pay that on the flip side of that, because I don't care that it may be $10-15 extra. If it's not absorbently higher, I want to support Black people, and that's the trade-off. And I feel a little saddened by the fact that there's such a drop off when it comes to just us when we talk about this thing in
Yeah.
finances. But in all honesty, it really comes to every part of Black life, and I think that as much as we can talk about the things we're happy about with being Black, that's still a challenge. That's still a hill we have to walk up right there.
No, I saw when you did that show about that, Martin. I'll let you weigh in on that real quick, but I saw that, and it's kind of like we're
Oh yeah,
behind.
you were in there. Yeah.
Yeah, we're behind. When you look at like these other races that have been having businesses, we're behind the 8 ball. We haven't been doing this for hundreds of years. So when you look at that service element, like Brian's the first payroll company, you're the first. There's going to be challenges with anything that's a first compared to, I don't know, the ones that's been around for 100 years. So we don't have that same runway that the other races have. But Martin, I know you've been around that for a while. You've seen Black businesses grow. No, you're good. I'm not saying you're bad. No, let me take that back. It's not that Brian's bad. I'm just saying that comparatively, overall, if you look at like a dry cleaner or a restaurant, you're like, that restaurant was bad. Black owned stuff isn't good. Well, that's probably the first time they've been in the business, or we haven't been doing this for 50 years. So there's levels to this game that you get better the longer you do it.
Well, let me just jump in and say that our stuff keeps getting burned. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, our businesses,
we've had our stuff, but they keep burning it. You know what I'm saying? So then we got to start all over from scratch for no experience again. I mean, I just had to throw that in there.
No, good point. Go ahead, Martin.
I think a part of this conversation is framed by misinformation that we have in our community. We're great at sharing information, but not necessarily great at verifying and fact checking, right? So when Minister Farrakhan, and no disrespect to him, said it in the 90s, that Black wealth was only, or Black dollars only circulated one time. When that statement was made, there was a brother who created something called Black Dollars Recirculation, or Recycle Black Dollars in LA. He was individually making sure the Black community in LA circulated Black dollars at least 10 times. So a lot of times we're saying different statements and sayings, and we're passing it on, because we're the original viral people. We get information and we pass it. But the challenge with us is sometimes, as Brian brought out, when we talk about Black Wall Street in Tulsa, and I'm intimately involved with the Oklahoma Eagle, which is the first Black paper created after the Oklahoma, the Tulsa massacre. A lot of stats that I thought was true was not necessarily the case when you do the actual history dive. So for instance, when we talk about prices and Black people paying the same prices as a white customer, white people have a median household wealth of the average 247,000. Black people and Dominicans in America, as of 2018, had a median wealth of 0. And you can find this at bostonfed.org. It was a great report they did. And I'm not saying that to shock. I'm just saying that I think that part of in being in business is we have to recognize that we're dealing with a people who may not have the financial wealth or even the history. And unfortunately, our media outlets, or what we consider media outlets, are not keeping us abreast of how bad or how good things are. Black women, according to U.S. Federal Reserve Bank, from the last 6 years, have created all the small business increases every year consistently. So there are more Black businesses than ever before, and they're predominantly run by Black women. So they may be able to have the ability to buy from Byron, sorry. But the challenge may be they may not have the right prices. So they may not be able to afford his prices. So I think a part of this is a coming to a Jesus moment, or a coming to the Lord moment, or a coming to whoever you worship moment, and saying, this is where the Black community is at, right? These are the people that are creating the businesses in our community, right? This is what we as a business community have to make adjustments for. Then on the other side, the consumer has to also come, this is the second generation of this business, or the third generation, because we may have been predatorily targeted by white real estate brokers to push us out of a community where we historically have been able to make enough money to actually have enough equipment and enough supplies. But now we're on the other side of town where it's harder, and the community is like, why'd you move? Because we have a business that was forced out by this sell this building because we didn't own the building, or whatever it is. So I think on the consumer side and the voter side, which is very important about Atlanta, very important about Georgia right now, I believe we will definitely have the Senate. By hook or crook, we're going to have the Senate. What Black people have to do, what Maynard Jackson did, is come in the door with an agenda of 35 or 33%. We need the same thing that Maynard set up at Atlanta Airport, where 30% of all contracts and all business had to go to the Black community of Atlanta. We have never, as far as I've been here, 50 years, walked into a political arena and said, give us third. We want a third. What third? There's only 13% of America. Yeah, we brought the Senate. We want a third. So going back to Ice Cube and going back to cancer and stuff like that, is we have to have a realistic conversation with our communities on different levels. We have the sororities here on this call. We have the Caribbean Americans here on this call. We have London, Black London here on this call. We have the ability to have an international forum that addresses a lot of our issues, and we also have the ability to go viral right here in these 12, 11, 13 folks. But we have to have all this conversation, not just one singular conversation about how bad things are or how good things are, a holistic conversation of where we really are in this country and where we are internationally and where we are in the Caribbean and also where we are in Africa.
Martin Pratt for president, everybody. Martin Pratt for president. Rebecca, you have something to add to that before we wrap up. And you have something to add to it. And that was perfect, Martin. Thank you for sharing that, because you and I feel the same about a lot of that. Go ahead, Rebecca.
Thank you. Thanks, Daryl. Okay, so famous last words. You're all right. I think that we're all right. There isn't any one reason why Black businesses struggle. There isn't any one reason. It's all the reasons that were given. And you know, to the assertion that you know, we haven't had a lot of practice over the years. I would suggest to you that we were some of the original business owners. We taught white people how to do business. We had businesses during slavery. We were the blacksmiths. We started banks when we came out of slavery. We have had the experience in doing business, but systemic racism has kept us out and pushed us out to the points that, you know, that all of our family here is making. In the Divine Nine, we've said that if someone has a business, that you know, that business, that dollar should pass through 9 hands. It's 9 sororities and fraternities, and just if we're only considering that, the money should pass through 9 hands before it gets out into the market. But you cannot be raggedy. To, you know, to Kelly's point, you can't be raggedy. You know, we do have to have some pride in our business. I would also suggest to you, I'm very cautious about calling our businesses hustle. You got to have some hustle in you, but there's a difference between having some hustle in you and being a hustler. So I want to make that distinction and caution any of us that are using, you know, that term and how you use it. It's a great time to be Black if you're awake. And you got to know an opportunity when you see one, and you got to be willing to share the wealth among your brothers and sisters.
That is a beautiful mic drop for this, the close thing. Oh, go ahead and mute your, a beautiful mic drop to end this out. I feel good now. So I've been doing these lives a lot, y'all. So this is the last one of 2020. So I think this is a great way to end things. I need to take a break in December. I've been doing too much. I think Pierre was talking like, you're doing a lot. Like, yeah, I have been. So I appreciate all of you for joining this forum. Liz, thank you for putting a spotlight on it with your features in every publication out there. I'm gonna say every publication. But thank you guys. And if you're going into Thanksgiving, a lot of people are concerned about gatherings right now. Like, full disclosure, we had a baby shower we were supposed to do. Not gonna do it because the cases are kind of going up right now. And we're concerned about putting people, even if they're socially distant, in a closed building. So when you think about what's going on with COVID right now, be cautious with your family. The biggest threat they're saying right now is because of having these closed gatherings and, you know, being at dinner with your grandma, your uncles and them and all that. Just be safe, please, because it's the different time we're in. And obviously people that look like us have a higher risk with COVID-19, whether you're healthy or not. It's just the fact is we're not doing as well with it. So thank you, everybody in the comments, everybody on YouTube, everybody on LinkedIn. I'm from Beacon. All you make me LinkedIn, so I appreciate all of you just saying, okay, let's talk. And please, everybody watching this, reach out to the folks here in the panel that came went. They just have a different skill set, and all of us can help in some kind of way. And I think the part I love most about the Zoom call, have a Zoom call, phone call, just talk. It's not like you had to pay for a consultation. I know Nick has their book me all the time on his thing. You just talk to Nick when you call him. He's not asking for money just when you connect with him. So please, folks, be safe. As everybody mentioned, Georgia is the political center of the universe right now. So Liz, you can move to Georgia. Brian, you can move to Georgia. Pierre, everybody move to Georgia for a little bit. We got 2 runoffs happening. The early voting starts December 12th. December 12th early voting starts. The actual day of the election is January 5th. If you don't want to wait in line, early vote December 12th. That's less than a month away from here. So if you have cousins in Georgia, relatives, friends, tell their butts to get up and go vote. Rebecca, you have something to add to that?
Oh, I was just going to say, I actually didn't want to interrupt you. Thank you. December 7th, for those who are not registered to vote, you can register by December 7th. Please make sure that you are registered and check the system to make sure that you appear as a registered Georgia voter.
Yep. And if you got an absentee ballot before, you got to do it again. Don't think because you got one before it's the same one. You have to do it again for this election. So please, folks, we want to make sure change is happening. Like Deb Helfrich mentioned, the receipts from the 45th administration were not good. So let's look at some change going forward. And look, at least you won't have to have tweets every day about something crazy. At least that. I don't trust any political party better than another one really overall. But at least I don't have to wake up every day like, what did this person say on the TV today? What did he say on Twitter today? So I'm thankful. That's what I'm thankful for. To be a Black person and walk outside and not worry about people being emboldened to be racist for 4 years. That's what I'm thankful for. So everybody, please be safe. We will catch you next year on Professionally Black. We'll do one in January. And I'll try to time it after the inauguration to have some fun to talk about. But please, everybody, be safe. We appreciate you. Ashe.